Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hello. Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. This is Mai Vu Coach coming to you from van life in where am I today? I have been on a 40 days cross country road trip from California to Maine, and today is day 31, 32, day 32, and we are in uh, Driggs in Idaho. I'm so excited. We just finished the Grand Teton and Yellowstone yesterday and the other day. But that van life does not stop me from doing my work and reaching out to all the bold and brave women around the world, talking about things that are very ordinary and yet it requires so much boldness and bravery and so much healing and self-love. So I'm excited to bring to you today my friend Cosette Cole, and I reached out to Cosette because she posted on Facebook that she was some recovering from something and she was impatient with her recovery. I'm like, what are you recovering from? And then lo and behold, this whole conversation came out, and I'm so excited to bring this topic to you. Um, uh, uh, I haven't done it myself, but I thought about it, and now that you've done it, I so want I want to know all the details around it. What, how did you get here, and what happened, and what's the recovery like, and so many questions. So come on in, Cosette.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation and hang out with us and you guys and
Yeah.
visit.
Yes, we are live on Spotify, on YouTube, on Facebook. So I'm really excited to get this out there. So the title of this conversation is Mommy Makeover. I forget my title that I put it together. Mommy Makeover Surgery. It's beyond vanity. So tell us, what have you been going through?
The physical transformation was a lot easier than I had prepared for. I thought that I would be out for weeks and in a bed for weeks. And that wasn't the case. I was just up and about and ready. And it actually went really smooth. Physical healing better than I could have ever hoped for. My body was
Yay.
prepared. The mental was a little bit different. I didn't quite prepare for the mental healing that it would take. I've been prepared. I've wanted this for myself for the last 13 years. I had kids young. I loved my body in every form that I ever took. It was just time for me to celebrate me and honor myself.
Mhm.
And I'm a bit independent, and that completely stripped a lot of that away. I had to count on my husband and my kids and just slow way down, which I'm not
Okay,
used to.
we have to slow this down and give them a little context. So, Cosette is, you just turned 35. Happy birthday. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
wow. And then you are married. You've been married with your husband for how many years?
17 years.
17 years. And you,
Yeah.
and you had two kids, and they're teenager now. So you're only 35, but your kids are already in
17 and 15.
17 and 15. So you had kids really young.
Yes.
And I've been following you guys on Facebook, and you're just a thriving family. You're outdoorsy, you do all these things, and you guys get along really well, at least on Facebook anyway.
Yes.
I should say that because that's um, and so what did you decide to do with your body?
I decided to have a tummy tuck, and while he was in there, they noticed that my abs were torn about 2.5 inches. Typically, that's a common thing for birthing children. They just separate as your body expands, and there's no way to repair through any exercise or self-care. It just doesn't. So we had to sew that together. Also found a hernia that was quite large. It was about 2 inches in diameter in circumference. So they got all that tucked back in and where it needed to be. I had my stomach he removed 2.5 pounds of skin and fat, just right in the stomach pouch. I didn't know this, but fat can scar. So it's just, again, stuff that you can't, it was just there, which again, I loved my body before, but it was limiting in some capacity. I'm an avid bike rider. Started giving me back issues. So there's all these other benefits that I didn't realize other than the vanity part of looking pretty. And then I had my breasts lifted. They went in and just cut off the bottom and anchored and pulled them up.
Wow!
So completely rebuilt, torso to breast. And I love it. I couldn't be more thrilled. I feel 21 again.
I'm so happy
yeah,
for
it's been
you.
quite a
Wow.
transformation, and empowering and slow.
So tell me about the when I first saw when we were messaging, and then you first said that, and of course the first thought was, oh, vanity, right? Like, why do you need all that stuff, and blah blah blah, everybody. And then you were explaining and how you've been living with this pain and all this stuff, and I realized that there's a whole backstory that we don't see or know about behind the scene. Like, what this is the classic thing about bold and brave women. This is why I think this is a great conversation for bold, brave women, because I know I live with pain as if like it's my daily routine, and I keep going, and I'm cheerful, I'm available, I'm loving, and all this stuff, right? And yet deep down inside there's like physical pain that I live with and you live with. So what has life been like with all that thing that you didn't know you had?
It was, I'm an optimistic person, and I prefer just to live in happiness.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that went away, or the pain went away, or my limitations went away. So it was just always kind of there. And now that it's gone, I realize and see how that affected me in the self-talk of limiting beliefs of that I can't do it, or I'm not worth it, and all the negative doubt that came with it that I didn't quite, I always fluctuated in weight and always fluctuated. And I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? And so to step back from that and just honor, like, that's where my body was. But it's been really freeing to feel and take the power back for something that I couldn't at that time control, or thought I couldn't control. Just, I didn't realize it was that present for me. So the pain or the discomfort or even the mental stuff that it created for me, I wasn't aware of until I was aware of it. Present for me.
So if I'm to understand you correctly, so basically you had your two babies, and you were a good mom, you devoted yourself into growing them, and meanwhile your body has certain aches and pain or whatever, and then you continue to do sports, keeping up with your husband and all that stuff, but there's certain things you just couldn't do, and so you held yourself back, or you start forming beliefs about yourself, and
that I couldn't do it, or couldn't be the kind of person that did those things. So I just stopped myself and limit.
What couldn't you do with that hernia pain that you didn't know you had, and all these surprises that they found in there?
Yeah, so my abdomen, I didn't know that was an issue for me. And roughly around 50 to 60 miles on a bike, my back would just start, because I was compensating using other muscles opposed to my abdomen. And I'd always set goals to do 100 miles or do 100 miles by the end of the season. And I could just never quite get there, because at 50 miles, my back, it would be done. So I'm just like, okay, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this. I can't accomplish this. I've got to adjust my goals to fit the narrative, or just give up completely and stop writing, which in fact wasn't the greatest, because that's what I love doing. So that was a big one. My hernia, would come and go. And it actually flared up for the first time about 3 years ago. Curtis and I were on a traveling trip, and it just took me out completely that I had no idea. So I was just, the rest of our trip was me in bed debating whether to go to the emergency room or not.
Right. And meanwhile, when that happened, you probably was judging yourself like, what's wrong with my body? Why does it do this? Oh, now I ruined the vacation for everyone around, and bad and shame and what's wrong with me kind of thing, right? Like if you were a normal woman, that's what you would do. Because that's what my brain would do.
And wondering like, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I eat? Like, did I overdo it? Like, what is going on?
So,
sorry
like,
that I can't be present with you.
and especially as self-helper and health oriented people, we have all these checklists and rules and of how we should be eating, how we should be sleeping, walking, all this stuff. And so we end up shooting ourselves and our bodies in pain and shaming ourselves. And yet really we didn't realize that there was deeper structural things that was not right, and that's how come our body was in pain. Yet mentally and emotionally we shame ourselves.
We do. I did.
Wow.
We are wired that way and do that. I think it's searching for some sort of answer or excuse or
blame,
comfort.
Yeah,
just to say we live in a world of shoulds. Societal norms teach us to live in a way that we should show up or should be. And it's shameful. Like if you're not running at a certain capacity or you're not able to show up a certain way, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, or if you gain a certain amount of weight and that kind of stuff, then that means you've been a pig, you've been eating out, you didn't have discipline and blah, 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 all this stuff that we do in our brain.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, what's really happening is structurally your body was not right, or there's something broken in there that needed to be fixed.
Right.
It's like we're a machine, right? Like if we're like a car and there's some major part like the drivetrain or something is broken, but instead of fixing the drivetrain, we're like sitting there yelling at the car going, what's wrong with you, car? Other cars could go that far and all this stuff, and how come you can't go? Kick the tires and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Oh,
that is
my
very
God,
real. Yes.
You're like enlightening me right now. It's like I'm going through the checklist of my body and like, hey, maybe my lower back pain is something about that too. It's like, that is, it's not because blah, 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 but maybe because something is ripped and my stomach muscle is not holding it together correctly.
Yeah. And I didn't have any bowel issues, but that is another known benefit of having your surgery repair or your abdomen repaired for people that have BMI issues. A lot of it's eliminated from that stomach repair. The human body is so incredible. And if it's like, there's no shame in having that looked at and like, okay, let's see. Yeah, maybe I need something new or to allow yourself final acceptance of, this is how this is. I'm going to stop living in the world of should. So, I mean, both options are available to us. It's just where you're at, mentally and physically and financially. But it's been pretty exciting.
It is. It's so good. And then when we started out the conversation, you were talking about how there was like, you were ready for the physical healing, and that went fast and it's no big deal, but the emotional healing was a lot harder. Tell us more about that.
So the first thing that hit me, it was just summertime, springtime cleanup and helping with yard work and take off Curtis and housekeeping. I enjoy doing that stuff. It's therapeutic for me to like clean my house, but that was my first realization is like, oh, I can't even vacuum my house right now. Damn, I'm a failure. Like I felt trapped, almost like in an incapable body. when my mind's like, this is what you usually do. And then I'd have to remind myself, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to slow down. The universe continues to teach me patience. And this was an elective learning. And then the second
An
one,
elective class, a bonus.
yes. And the second one hit me really hard. I don't body shame myself. I've always been thicker. I've always just loved it and felt sexual and sensual and have owned my body. And one day I was getting ready naked and I looked down at my legs and I was like, oh, my legs could be fitter, like to fit my new body. And it like stopped me and I thought, no, we're not doing this.
Oh, wait a
Because
minute.
it
Oh my
created
God.
an expectation like that now that I've got this new body that I have to have this new standard or ideal of my whole body being all fit and good, and which isn't the case. So I had to check myself and say, address that internal voice. Like, no, we're not doing that. Like,
Well, but that's what people do. They start with one little nipple tuck here or there,
yeah,
right? And then they look at their eyes and they're like, well, okay, now that I've done that, then the nose has got to be a little reshaped, and then the mouth,
yeah,
and then the skin, and then why not the boobs, and then the stomach, and then the
right.
whole thing, right? And then so you're
Cycle
constantly
this, lift this. Yeah,
that
if you couldn't mentally check in, it would be a vicious cycle. And that's a whole nother conversation. And it was just like address it, like, beautiful, you love yourself, like that will come when you choose to get fit, or now that your body's repaired, it will follow as you continue your regular life. So it was just a mental, but that one hit me because I just haven't been that like negative self-talk. I just practice not being in that space, but damn, that that hit hard.
Oh, I feel so much love for you and your body, and I can so relate because I turned 55 recently, and outside or inside I feel like I'm still 32 or something,
Yeah,
but with COVID, and I don't know what the heck is going on, but I look at my mirror, my body in my mirror, and I'm like, oh no, we don't like this body at all.
mm,
What is this bulge? And and my calf is getting thicker, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And my legs are not attractive anymore, and I'm like, and I'm starting to like wrap up and shame up, and so, oh, it's so hard. This standard of expectation, and this shaming, this body shaming, and this
mhm.
desire to keep up with everyone else, looking good, and we think like we're really sane women, right? We're not the
Yeah,
vanity kind of women. Where did that
right, right. Oh,
come from?
yeah,
Go ahead.
the societal expectations are very real that we've ingrained in ourselves. And
Right, but
no one's ever
yeah.
told me that. But even just like when I tell friends or let them know what was going on with me, they'd always say, good for you, but you were beautiful before that. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm aware of that. Like, I'm not thinking it's going to make me more than, or it was a weird realization for me when I would hear that. Like, I honored them for giving a compliment, but it almost felt a little, how it occurred to me was a
Like
little backhanded. Like,
a backhanded
yeah, you don't need
yeah.
to do that. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know why I perceived it that way, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting the surgery because I think I'm ugly. Just try and
In fact, it's
repair
because I think
self.
I'm beautiful and I want to be more beautiful. No, but see,
Yeah.
that's the thing. There's two dialogue that goes on so quickly right next to each other, and sometimes it's confusing on which one is driving. Right?
Yeah.
There's the part of me that's like, oh, I'm really in pain. I actually really need this. And this actually will help me go into old age so much better and do
Yes.
it now while I'm younger so that I can recover quickly and, why not live fully to your max? Oh
Yeah.
my God, I can't wait to see you on Facebook with your post about you rode 100 miles or whatever without pain, and that's good, right? And that's so amazing. And that whole thing of how that pain or that limitation become your mental limitation, your physical limitation became a mental, and how you saw yourself in life. So
Yes.
undoing that is so amazingly important. And man, I don't know how much this surgery cost, but huzzah, every penny was worth it, right? So there's that.
Every
And then
penny.
every penny. And then on the other side, there's this underlying thing that going, oh, well, now that we're so pretty up there, but now down there it's not a match anymore, and now
Right.
we have to do something with that. Can they suck that out too? Can they be shave
Right.
my legs? And
Yeah.
oh my God. and and the conversation with the external world and how people are projecting their own vanity and their own self-love stuff on top of you, and then you're kind of like managing all these things that coming at you,
Yeah.
and you didn't anticipate any of that when
None
you
of
just agreed to the surgery.
right. I just thought, yeah, I have a high pain tolerance. Like I'll be good, or I've got a good mental space. I'll be good. And then all of this other stuff came about, and I'm like, oh, guess it's a good time to look at
Oh,
all of that. Check in.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you learning about self-love now that you just gave yourself this level of experience?
Um, there's been a piece of acknowledgement, even just in the journey of paying for it, that I am a powerful woman that can create that kind of money in 6 months was a big one. And so it was just like self-appreciation of what I'm capable of in the finance world of that. Because that's a big commitment. It's a big
And
investment.
is it okay to share the price
Yeah,
of
it
all
was
this
$22,000
to do all of that?
to do all of that. So out the door anesthesia, facility fees.
Wow, that
Um,
seems really cheap because I'm about to do 3 dental implants, and that's
uh-huh.
gonna cost me about $16,000. I would like to have, up better
Yeah,
boots
that's a
and,
good price.
and no back pain. But I also like to get to choose.
Yeah.
So, there's
So
a
right. But it wasn't. It seemed like you start in the space of like, oh, that could be a new car, or to pay
for the
off some debt,
kids or right,
or
pay off
your
some
kids'
debts or
education. Like you could create 10,000 other reasons to have that kind of cash
right.
available. Um, but there was power in just being in our point of our life. Like, no, I'm going to honor myself and treat myself to that and create that.
Yes.
Um, and then just slowing down and really appreciating what my body was doing. Like that's a very traumatic surgery, physically and mentally, to just honor your body and how it's showing up every single day was just a next level of appreciation I've never felt for myself, just to
Yeah, and
be
I
with
don't think
it.
we touched that enough, like that part where you were recovering from the surgery and you see Curtis, your husband, vacuuming, and you're like, I should be the one doing that. But you
Mhm.
can't because you would rip that up and cause more
Yeah,
problem, and
right.
it was painful, right? And then you hurt yourself. You're like, why can't I get up there? And you rush yourself. And these are the traps that bold, brave women fall into, is that
Yeah.
we don't take enough time to recover. We don't take enough rest. We shoot ourselves to move forward. We carry the load all to ourselves. It was so funny. I was hiking the other day and I saw this woman strap on, that big baby carrier in the
Uh-huh.
back with a full-on toddler in the back and
Yeah.
grabbing another toddler,
Oh,
hand and constantly walking and going back, like are you warm enough, honey? Then it out. And she's like, she's doing it. Meanwhile, her husband is like trailing behind, empty-handed, completely worthless. And he just kind of like, well, there's nothing I can do, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I so want to get in there and going, I'm a relationship coach, and you know where you're going? You are going to crash this relationship really fast, and
Real
he's
quick.
gonna, yeah, you guys are gonna divorce, and you're gonna feel really resentful toward him, and he's gonna go, well, she did everything I couldn't get in there. So
Yep.
warning, please don't do that to yourself and to your marriage. Let your husband step up and be your hero and take care of you, and you don't have to
Yeah.
rush your surgery, your recovery, or you don't even have to wait until you have a surgery to rest and recover. Like, take more time to rest and enjoy.
Right. Yes, very much so. Very much.
Yes.
Another thing that came up for me,
Yeah.
I have, yes, let them show up for you. That's why
Yes.
we've been married 17 years. Side note.
Yes, right. And still hot. That's awesome.
And still hot.
But you were about to say something about another thing.
Another thing that showed up for me, people reached out and it was probably the best first 2 weeks of recovery. It was so fun. Just allowing people to show up, bring us dinners, bring us treats. Can we help clean your house? We ate the best we'd eaten in a long time every night. We just had company, very calm, but it was, I tend to have a hard time letting people show up for me because I show up for people.
Yeah.
And then just being in a space to accept was really quite beautiful, to allow people to show up for me and my family. They didn't just come for me. They made enough for my husband and 2 kids. And that was a shift for me, to allow people to serve me.
So was that like a place where you got to see how loved you really are, and how like warm and cocooning you really are, that or that you normally don't let in, and now you got to let it in and feel it?
Yeah, it was. You captured it beautifully, just to allow people to show up for me, and it was them honoring me and repaying me, and just loving.
Yeah, this is something that I work with my clients all the time. It's like letting ourselves be loved. I call it let love in. I actually have like the whole pose where I just stand there with my arms straight up and wide open, and with a leg kick up, because it's like you're letting love in, and you're letting the joy in, and you're allowing people to love you and to care for you. And this happens every day. I mean, like, right now we are parked in front of a friend's house that we just met. We met in across where were we? In New York, upstate New York. And
Uh-huh.
I was visiting another friend, and this is his brother who happened to be there. And he said, well, when you guys get to Wyoming and Idaho, come over, and you can shower, you can park, out. And there's a part of me that kind of like, really, but I don't even know you. But then the
Uh-huh.
other part of me really know, the let love May in part of me really know that I am so loved and cared for around the world, not just in my own family. So I
Mhm.
said yes. And so we came and we drove in here last night, and they had the best shower, the best shower. Oh my God.
Yes.
and and when I'm done with this, I'm gonna like hop out and go see his world. And that it just would I can't wait to let another stranger love me and care for us. And it's just such a great exchange of love. And I think a lot of time, being bold and brave, we're too strong and too stubborn or too independent, that we actually block love from coming in.
I agree with that. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. I'm glad to be here with you to remind you of that, so that you don't have to go another surgery.
Yes.
You don't need a surgery. You don't need cancer. You don't need to have autoimmune system to know that you are so loved in the world.
Agreed. Yes.
Yes. And you don't need a divorce to also know that you're loved and you're cared for. Actually, divorce tends to make people think that they're not loved, but it actually is another very powerful, loving journey in the world. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. I
Thank
like practically
you.
want to see, like, can I see what it looks like now?
I'm like, yeah.
Oh, okay, let's see.
I
Woo!
actually, here, let me show. Let me find a photo. Do you want to see the
Okay.
before?
Okay. Wow, we have before and after pictures too. Ooh. Brr.
Or let me see what
The
ones are
before
black.
is gonna make me feel better because I have a before picture right now.
So this is,
Oh yeah, I see. That's what my body looks like.
yeah, it was a beautiful body. And it served
Yeah.
me and took me. I mean, we had so many adventures in this body. It is okay.
Wow. You are
Um,
so amazing.
um, this is my hernia, or this is my abdomen. I can't, if you can
Oh, that
see.
way, yeah. Oh wow. Yes.
Right. That
That's
those circles are how much it was torn
wow.
in the
Okay.
abdomen.
Yeah.
This was the hernia that they pulled out.
The other way. Yeah. Oh, that's like how big is that? There's
It
a
was
ruler.
it was almost 4 centimeters.
4 centimeter.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And they just emptied it and got it all of the fatty tissue out and then put it back into place and sewed me up. So
Wow.
this is this morning.
Woo! Look at that. Oh
I'm
yeah, I
still
can see
kind of
why.
swollen.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. You're so beautiful. Look at you go. Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being. I mean, like, you really need to post all this stuff out there and really
I
be,
will.
a champion for women. Like, I feel so healed getting to see your body as is, and the before and the after, and I can so see why your legs and thighs are going. What about us? Oh,
Hey,
we
it's
have
my turn.
something too. Yeah. And then it's an endless loop of,
No. Yeah, I'm gonna cycle those away. I'll just get fit.
that extra 50 kilometers or miles so that you can
Yes.
get it there. Oh my gosh, we were just around the Grand Tetons area, and it has the best bike trail. Have you seen it? Have you biked that trail?
Yes. Yeah. I haven't done that trail, but Curtis, my husband, did
Yes.
the Logan to Jackson race that starts in Logan and
Yes.
ends. So you get to go all the way up through the Tetons and it
Oh.
spits you right downtown in Jackson. So yes, that is a goal
Oh.
list
Oh,
for
oh.
those trails
Well,
up
the
there.
one that I saw is all flat. It's flat and through the prairies and then we see the Grand Tetons Mountain. Oh my God, it's magnificent. For those of you who've never seen the Grand Tetons, please visit my let's see, where am I gonna post these things? They're not up yet, but I'm on Facebook Mai Vu Coach, or my Instagram, Bold Brave Woman, but mostly I'm gonna put a whole bunch of album onto my Buy Me a Coffee / Mai Vu Coach. So that's where I'm gonna load that stuff up. I was just blown away how beautiful this area is, and I saw all these people biking, and I thought, if she could bike, I could bike too. And now that you're saying that you bike, I'm like,
Yes.
oh honey, when you do that, could you send me a picture? I'm so excited for
Yes,
you.
I will. And everybody, look at those. The Tetons are unreal. The beauty is,
Unreal. Yeah. It's
yes. Go look
I
at her.
mean, yeah, there are magnificent places like Yosemite, like Yellowstone is beautiful differently. Yellowstone is beautiful, expansive, flat wise, but the Grand Teton is magnificent in height wise. Oh, Utah. Oh, Utah is stunning in its own
Yes.
right too. So anyway, there's so
Yes.
many beautiful places in this country. I love, love our country and the world actually. But anyway, so thank you so much for being here
Yeah,
and
thank you for
sharing.
the invitation and the opportunity to share my journey.
Yeah, and if you have any other thoughts, please chime in, drop me a message. You know, we can always do part 2 of what happened after
Ooh,
the
I would love
surgery.
it. Yes,
Right?
after
Yeah.
recovery.
Because
What?
this is just the beginning of your new life.
Oh,
All
yes.
right. Thank you, everyone. If you love what I do put out there, I'd love your support. Please like and share. We are on, like I said, we're on YouTube under Bold Brave Woman channel, and also on Spotify, Bold Brave Women on Spotify. And you can also buy us a coffee, buy me a coffee to help keeps me going at buy me a coffee / Mai Vu Coach. Looking forward to the next conversation. Thank you so much. Come back anytime, Cosette, and have a
Thank
wonderful
you,
time with
Mabu.
your new body.
Thank you. I will.
Flaunt it, baby. Bye.